Washington, isolated from his political allies and cut off from his financial patrons, Stephen K. Bannon, President Donald Trump's former chief strategist, issued a striking mea culpa on Sunday for comments he had made that were critical of the president's eldest son. Bannon, who is quoted in a new book calling Donald Trump Jr.'s meeting with Russians in 2016 treasonous, tried to reverse his statements completely, saying that the younger Trump was both a patriot and a good man. A CNN host accuses Donald Trump's senior policy advisor, Stephen Miller, of being obsequious and speaking to an audience of one. People have braved record low temperatures in New Jersey to see the partially frozen Patterson Great Falls. U.S. President Donald Trump again attacked a new book suggesting he lacks the fitness and stability for office, declaring, "Ronald Reagan had the same problem and handled it well. So will I." Astronaut John Young, who became one of the most accomplished astronauts in the history of the U.S. space program, has died at age 87. Some businesses are holding off on installing the fix for a massive security bug in microchips exposing nearly every computer and smartphone to hacking, fearing the solution is worse than the problem. U.S. President Donald Trump explains his mental state tweet, claiming author Michael Wolff is a fraud and that he considers the Fire and Fury book a work of fiction. Not afraid of a little hyperbole, author Michael Wolff says Donald Trump has the least credibility of anyone who has ever walked on Earth, in his first interview since the release of Fire and Fury. A CNN host accuses Donald Trump's senior policy advisor, Stephen Miller, of being obsequious and speaking to an audience of one. He said his reference to treason had not been aimed at the president's son, but at another campaign official who attended the 2016 Trump Tower meeting, Paul Manafort. "My comments were aimed at Paul Manafort, a seasoned campaign professional with experience and knowledge of how the Russians operate," Bannon said. "He should have known they are duplicitous, cunning and not our friends." To reiterate, those comments were not aimed at Don Jr. Earlier on Sunday, the administration continued its assault on Bannon, with Donald Trump's senior policy advisor, Stephen Miller, saying in a heated interview on CNN that comments by Bannon in the new book were out of touch with reality, vindictive and grotesque. In the book, Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House, by Michael Wolff, Bannon said Trump had lost his stuff, and he described the meeting with Russians attended by Donald Trump Jr. and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, as potentially treasonous. Miller, in his defense of the president, called him a political genius who could rattle off complete paragraphs on the fly in response to news events and then deliver them flawlessly to a campaign audience. On Saturday, the president, responding to the book's depiction of his actions in office as erratic, had called himself a very stable genius. Get the latest news and updates emailed straight to your inbox.